Many thanks for joining us. Now to the details of our stories. Residents of Teshie in Accra have issued a 2-month ultimatum to the government demanding the rehabilitation of all deplorable inner roads within their community. According to the residents, the deteriorating condition of roads at Greater Estate Triblau, Teshie La Scala and other areas is severely impacting their daily lives and commute, necessitating urgent action. This more.
The residents have already submitted a petition to the chief priest of Teshie, Numo Bedu Odan Odiapense I, highlighting the poor state of their roads. Additionally, they have submitted a similar petition to the municipal chief executive for Koku, Kwashi. Frustrated with the lack of progress, they have expressed their intent to organize another protest if their roads are not rehabilitated within the next 2 months. Speaking to the media, leader of the group, Metal Nuno Jr., called on government to, as a matter of urgency, fix the road. He further gave government a 2-month ultimatum to have the road constructed or face their wrath.
Municipal Chief Executive, if you are asleep, wake up. Don't sleep. If you are asleep, wake up. So, boy, yay. This is our word. We are giving you 2 months ultimatum. If we hear nothing, the Constitution gives us the right, Article 21(1)(d), to embark on civil demonstration. The Public Order Act 1994 gives us the right. 2 months ultimatum, and you hear from the people of Teshie.
Responding to the protesters, Municipal Chief Executive of the Lejokuku Krowo constituency, Kwashi, said the government of President Akufo-Addo does not need the ultimatum of the people of Teshie to have their roads fixed. He believes that the road cannot be fixed in 2 months. Mr. Kwashi, however, stressed that work is currently ongoing on the road and the government will not relent on its effort to have the road fixed.
Akufo-Addo doesn't need your ultimatum to perform. I've told you that we've given us 4 major projects in our municipality. And these are roads. Before last week, a contractor was giving our roads. These roads are being done now, right, as we speak. Work is going on as we speak. It's a big project. The guy won't be at one location all through the project, but the project is ongoing, and we will not relent. The contractor will not leave until these 4 roads are done. When these 4 roads are done, we will all know the 4 roads are done. The cost, I can't give you the cost now, but the roads immediately deemed for constructing are around 16.9 kilometers. But as I said, be that as it may, it's fine. All is well that ends well.
Member of Parliament for the area, Benjamin Ayikunate, disclosed that he has been assured by the contractors that a road will be fixed in 6 months. He further called on the youth of the area to exercise patience.
I believe the youth of this community will exercise patience and will keep on watching. The work is going on. Within 6 months, most of our roads will be fixed.
In their quest for improved roads, the residents took to the streets on Tuesday, May 30th, 2023, demanding their fair share of development resources. Some of the inscriptions on the placards displayed by the demonstrators read, "Our roads look like Galamsey sites, potholes endangering our lives. Mr. MCE, what are you doing about our roads? Bad roads, our side chicks don't visit us anymore," among others. Some of the notable roads which they say are in bad state include Teshie Estate Road, Zongo Junction Road, Adum to Greater Estate Road, Kuala Street, Adblazar Road, Mate Chulu Road, among others.
Now, away from Teshie, let's head to Santor, a suburb of Ashaiman in the Ashaiman municipality. Now, they want roads in the area completely fixed. According to them, the poor state of the road is making life unbearable for residents in and around that enclave. There's more in the following report.
Pan-African News, some motorists and drivers bemoan the bad nature of the road. The situation, according to them, is affecting human and vehicular movement.
In fact, we are facing big challenges in our community because of our roads. We are suffering a lot. So if the government if the government can come to our aid to help us construct our road for us, it will help us a lot, because our businesses are down because of our poor roads in the community. Our women, our women are market women, but because of our roads, when it rains like this, they don't have access to. From here to Ashama, it says a short distance, but because of the poor roads, we don't have access to Ashama when it rains, especially when it rains. You will see here and there water and whatever. So we are pleading to the government to come to our aid by helping us constructing our road for us. It was fixed for a long time. It's not fixed. It's only what do you call it, the gutter, and that was NDC time when it was given to a contract. So as the change of government came, they stopped the work. Up to now, they are not working on the road anymore. So it's a big problem for us in the community. We are facing a big problems.
You would know 206 abepem sable. Why no say that here? Maybe a chum who said contract abi baso so mo ye kwan no. Na mo de o mo sabe kan kakra na mo ye de mo ja to ho. If 206 abepem sable no. Say ye hu kwan no sa na ye hu abepem sable. Why ufa santo say ko Medina. And I say so kwa Ashama. Na Medina kwan no fi akwade moto kura ye ntimi mfa mfa so. And Africa, enti se omo ya kwan ma ya beboa ye ka kese e na fa ni ka bebre fa bai efi ka na ka odu ha this was sign na chi e be asan kwa Ashama kwan no e ya block nsu aye ho ma enti omo ya kwan ma ya e beboa ye pa enti esram panyimfo se omo ya kwan ma ye
kwan ya fa so de kwan yam waka kan se no baba ya because at 2 days we are your and I call shop, sir. Yama, your spare part, your turn count of no word. The billion 15 million, 20 million, for your corner. To do just a crab, my crab, or see a flatter. You would matter. You're managing your man, Takra. So that's it. Sana, Yama, no one, I should gather your water. Uncle Funo, what banner, where I say, obey you a cross, to get us up to 1 hour with bus. No more. I'm going to share and throw away the end use money. The Bia, your cousin, as I said. Cowardice and free, the Bia, more problem, say your cousin, almost at your son, come cast. Because we're rude in your day, and your papa. Well, my car, maybe I register, maybe I register you, man. I want wood driving, would you be? But I want to car if you see.
Santor is located in the southwest of Ashaman. It is about 32.767 meters long. The road links to Medina, Ashalbotre and its environs. For Pan-African News, and Irabuna Frimpong's report.
Now from Santor, some or scores of residents and motorists within Ajay Kujo in the Tema West municipality of the Greater Accra region have decried the bad nature of roads in the area. According to them, the road for several years has been in a deplorable state, affecting socio-economic development. Irabuna Frimpong picked their thoughts and came through with the following report.
Speaking to Pan-African News, resident and motorist says it is difficult to reach out to the town because of the deplorable nature of their road. The angry residents could not fathom why appropriate authorities are not showing concern to their plight after several years of neglect. According to them, the road that links Santor, Medina, Boche and its environs has become very dusty with gaping potholes. They say the bad state of the road is affecting their daily activities. They further threaten to advise themselves if government fails to come to their aid.
Where the yes, Remo, the surrender to me. Sakaway. And no more near Betriso. The great Kakani Jai. Said the Hono, oh, who's it through one? I saw man who said the same Galamse cranny to why. Well, Sabio, oh, bar, our fair frupa, and I said, what the fuck I was. May Kenya say, I deal with a party of phone. Na sebi ye nim sebi Ghana for no eye ebisin because MP aye ne wo ha Carlos emisa ha ne ense na se because onanka se ni ka sempla no ma ehu se aha no onim se aha katema west intini asra ban na pa se sebi yaso ya ka Ghana for ho a ene omo nka ye na kwan we bia mo aye ye ntitiri kuro se enkrofo ate ha no sebi edoso pa nanso ye nka ye nka nipa ho nte kwan ne de se ka kwan fon pa e kwan we ka ho bi e won kran enye kura ba bi o e ye nkran man mu ne wo no tema
ye kwan no from ha Akosan City ani kotal nyina ani santo kwan nyina nye nsuo to say no yantimi nko eduma private cars no bebre o ma pa ko cars because of say kwan ne enya no entene ya pa ban ni cho mbo ma no mba ya ma ye tama akufo ado oba be hwe damp ba ko ha mo ye eduma ana adwuna mo grade kwan no o mo grade kwan no obe fa so no enche bia kwan nyina asanse ente this time nyina yantimi nko eduma wo bo hu nkwala nyina o mo gina kwan so anopa no ye be kwa ba no na tamako ente ya pa ban ni cho mo bomba no mo ba ya ma ye bread do kwan nya sisi a wo so kazovers ni we links ni we nyina wo be kwa ba sia na just wasesa ntama ye bre pa wa ha ipe bre ye bre ntimo bomba de na mo ma ban ni so nti ye because ni mo ba ya ma ya no ya ye mpasika wa ni nchen ye wo so onye ni yie na ye so ye na ntimi na because sisi wo fa your friends and pregnant women on timi kakra wo kakra no se on timi nko to this wa ye na kakra di na ko ntino omo bomba de na omo hwe ye
na utre na mo ka fe anya ede we de ade ada bridge ha no ewa ashama ha no obaga se ye nka Ghana for ho anya ya sra man panyi o ma ne MPs no constituencies na omo wo no o ma madian no omo visit Rooster omo ya ka kwa we e kwa go Medina and so anya.
A visibly worried resident who also shared the same sentiments blamed government for neglecting the area and pleaded with authorities to, as a matter of urgency, come to their aid.
I say as you leaders, no, Sabe, yeah, you SS and as a young school, I say, you as you leaders, a woman, because what do you mean, Ganjans and to Obama and a fat taxpayers' money, me pocket money, fire crime, so I just a power show. Why you easily gone? I want to how much and I want to go on here in Unipa. But me, I quite to remove ahead and I say, it's added dinner and a busy. Moon to me and through my and I'm overhead and so far my it's your car into me going why I'm out. I will do Fiasama, this will see what I'm possible motorway. Motorways, I say, car boy, free, rubber hang anything. And Corona Trabedia, I was some to me here, food bridge, Bima, or Bonometer and across the court. A quite fee, I link it to Medina. I don't know so anymore. Fear come Medina. I a short road. If you come Medina, a short. If you are quite a crazy, I'm between Yamaya Moon yet. Share committee 12. About Carbon Haya, and also a year a quine at a crossover heavy. At a crossroads, at a court. They say out the tema. That's also per se over Sama, and that's also a Uningua. Teshie Spentesa. One go far beach road, I have a fast Sama, and I'll be trafficking. What but I will be to I short, a quite short from 10 at the across Spenters. Multimedia, and I am Nimse leaders and I are born on my bones, say Sabi, Jimmy Abina, the leaders no more Niminasa, Salam Minuno. You say, I am Coscuno, the Niminasa senior leaders, because me am Uncle Scumin Trassi and your family. Their family almost all Mobaba Yan. Two parties in normal. I was so Muna, Pamo Mufiso, you be my way. I was saying, Trassi, yeah, to my move. I was saying, Shane some of my review said, yes, and this people, I was saying, Clomina.
Ejay Kojo is a town in the Tema West constituency in the Greater Accra region of Ghana, sharing a boundary with Ashaman, Madina and Ashali Buche. Reporting for Pan-African News, Annie Rabna from Pons report read to you.
Now, some NPP MPs intensify calls for Ofori-Atta's exit after the IMF deal. Some concerned citizens at Teshie and the Greater Accra region have shared varied opinions on the need for the resignation of Finance Minister. According to them, the economic woes of the country should be blamed on the current administration, of which Ken Ofori-Atta is the Finance Minister.
Following the finalization of the IMF deal, Ghana on Friday, May 19th, received the first tranche of $600 million of the IMF's $3 billion three-year extended credit support. Some members of parliament, numbering about 80, openly called for the resignation of Ken Ofori-Atta following the successful negotiation of the IMF deal. Today, they are being backed by some concerned citizens who are stressed by the hard economic situation and want President Akufo-Addo to go by his promise to let Ken Ofori-Atta go. Some patriotic citizens who mobilize their daily income through various jobs at Ashaiman took turns to express varied opinions on the matter.
They say they are mining more and no quarter they are China Yatum. They be they say you find them a ton force, you find them a debia, say intimate to add in Impo. The other tons of questions for bow intimate to add no. This is said, dear, Muni Sani Pan and free so. Now you're Brew Ghana. You know, some that means some will be beer, Omoya. Ghana for your name. So what I said, don't be been near my different person here, the Emra, near here. So what I said, because, sir, Ken Ofori-Atta, I'm here, President, Miniani Ken Ofori-Atta. Where Bonnie America, and Fiasem, or my make up from hey, Unuano, and Yanka of you. Who knows your name? Your name is Kadua, or what we are, or Kufa or the SC, and John Tanching. From near here on Sano, the only
while some believe that the hardship faced by Ghanaians is as a result of mismanagement of the economy, which requires that the finance minister resigns, others are of the view that since he has managed to secure the IMF credit facility for the country, he should be allowed to continue with his tenure.
Since he started it, you have to complete it. And since the IMF, the money came and he continuing it, he should continue it so that he finish it. Because when you sack him and bring different person, he will do the same thing. So they should allow him, since the president have confidence in him, they should allow him so that he and the president will all finish. By 2024, they all will be going, so that the different teams also will come. So that's me, my idea.
Ufula talk say munyina obia wakunentwie no etakra no so di when the IMF nkweni enkoje skama menka se pam no me pam na Ghana utame nya fa wodi obi me fa man kroma na Ghana na 6 million population is 6 million British for giant ska 46 million pounds ska mo de 6 million that's population is 6 million she achieve ska na Ghana be 7 point something million pounds and so yaji founded na no sis kan ya hochi nta hochi ni fitete na dia ba nti empanifo no o ma ya de e bia mo de Ghana ko jempo ya so that time no nkroma hwen yi anka obi ani ho ba che Ghana.
The line has been drawn and most citizens see nothing but poor leadership as a main root of our economic quagmire. They further advised the ruling party to avoid family and friends governance and rather concentrate on good policies that seek to develop the country. Reporting for Pan-African Television, Doreen Awolana-Ada.
Now, away from that, Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Association of Industries, Chonam Akpelu, has called on government to reconsider the calibration of taxes VAT at the port. He believes that the taxes needed to pay at the port are too high for members of the association to endure. Mr. Akpelu further called on policymakers to ensure that good tax policies are implemented to help protect people who would want to invest in the country.
That for a successful continental free trade agreement to occur, you need three cardinal things. Number one, e-commerce. Number two, logistics. Here we are gathered here because of the logistic components of things. The logistics is very important because when all said and done, our industries have been able to produce, they need to be able to move the goods and services to market. And now that we're trying to build Ghana houses in many countries, in Kenya, in Egypt, and all of that, it was important to identify a logistic mechanism where we can not only store the goods but also transport them to those countries. So it is important for AGI to partner this strategic initiative to ensure that our members have access to the space they need for warehouses to be able to save their product and export them. But it's important to reiterate that in all of this, the interest of the SME, a Ghanaian SME, should be promoted at all times. As we mentioned in the hall, the taxes you need to pay at the port are becoming increasingly too high for our members to endure. We import most of our raw materials from abroad. When you are importing the raw materials, you are asked to pay VAT. After you finish producing the product also, you are also asked to pay VAT. So it's almost like double taxation. We're asking for government to reconsider the calibration of the tax and the VAT and ensure that raw materials coming to the country do not attract taxes. We are also asking for a total support for indigenous businesses.
Now, the opposition National Democratic Congress NDC will be celebrating this year's 4th June event at Hohwe in the Volta region. This year's edition marks the 44th year since its inception. The program is expected to commence on Saturday, June 3, with a health walk in the morning and subsequently a public lecture at 2 p.m. at the campuses of the St. Francis College of Education, Franco.
The memorial event will be climaxed the next day, Sunday, 8 o'clock a.m., with a wreath laying at the EP Park in Hohoi. This year's program is themed, Saving Our Democracy, the Spirit of June 4th. The special guest of honor for this year's celebration is John Dramani Mahama, former president and flag bearer of the NDC. Other distinguished guests and speakers include Alhaji Hudu Yaya, Dan Abodakri, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, the National Chairman, Fifi Fiavi Kwete, the General Secretary, Mauto Agbavito, Volta Regional Chairman, Gavins Kwame Agbuja, NP for Daklu and Minority Chief Whip, and Samuel Okujetu Ablakwa, MP for North Tongue. The others are Helen Ajuan Toso, MP for Karachi West, Dr. Zenato Rawlins, MP for Klote Koli, Comrade Shine, Comrade Jamudi, Comrade Eric Bate, and Walanyo Teko, the parliamentary candidate for Hohoi. June 4th is an annual event permanent on the NDC's calendar and celebrated to mark Ghana's 1979 revolution, meant to awaken the conscience of the nation and imbibe in the citizenry the principles of probity and accountability. Mr. Sopake Agblaze, the Volta Regional Communications Officer, gave out the itinerary for the celebration in a statement dated May 30, 2023. He therefore calls on the general public to join the NDC and actively participate in this historic event in Hohoi.
Well, you're still watching our midday bulletin, Pan-African News, live here on Pan-African Television. Let's go for a short breather. Once we return, we have some more stories for you.
Hello, information. But ask. Me, I have still not got the money for that list of expensive building materials you sent to me. The price of the iron rods have been increased too much, hadn't they?
Madam, relax. Look, that's not why I even called. I just visited IPCP, where the engineers told me everything about Trasacco Fast Floor.
Trawanko, please, those people are expensive. Are they not the people building those big houses in town? I beg those guys.
Madam, in fact, I used to think the same until I visited their office today, and they gave me an estimate of how much it will cost. Yomo, the estimate is free. It's cheaper than the one I even sent you.
Wow.
Building contractors, foremen, masons. Visit IPCP, the Trasacco Fast Floor. Engineers will assist you build an affordable, faster and stronger building.
Oh, madam. It is done.
Wow.
Trasacco Fast Floor. Stronger, faster and affordable.
This is a Trasacco construction product. Trasacco Estates, home to Accra's most beautiful and luxurious homes, presents its newest addition, Trasacco Springs, a premium master planned community of service plots surrounded by an exhaustive list of amenities. The gated community of Tema to Accra Motorway presents you the finest opportunity to own a land that suits your preferred size, budget, and payment terms. Trasacco Springs is open to you for development. Our on-site sales executives are ready. Call.
Hello. What are you doing Tuesday to Friday, 7:30 to 9 o'clock p.m. every day? You should be watching The Couch. I'll tell you why. On Tuesdays, we talk social issues, lifestyle health, all those everyday issues that affect us in the big ways. Late Wednesdays are for book reviews. Thursdays are for the hard talk, those social, economic, policy-oriented, political questions that demand for the tough questions to be asked. And personality profiling Fridays, when we get to know the stories behind the winning personalities we love. Inspirational story from inspirational personalities. Hey, listen, you really cannot miss The Couch with me, Amma, but still the only TV show with a heart.
Right, welcome back from that short breather. If you just joined us, you're watching our Midday Bulletin Pan-African News live here on Stories. World Federation of Consuls, FICAC, consuls on the African continent in partnership with the Forestry Directorate of the University of Ghana has planted some tree plants at the University of Ghana to signify the peace and unity between Ghana and the various consuls. The event, which took place today, May 30, 2023, was in consonant with the Green Ghana campaign.
Part of the FISAC Regional Conference for Honorary Consuls on the African Continent, some members of the Honorary Consuls on the African Continent, in partnership with the Forestry Directorate of the University of Ghana, Legon, planted some trees on the University of Ghana campus. The activity saw the consuls planted 5 baobab trees to signify peace. The trees were planted by the president of FISAC, who doubles as consul of the Philippines in Thessaloniki, Greece, Nicholas K. Magaropoulos, Secretary General FISAC, who is also the consul of Estonia in Tunisia, Jalil Borau, Provost of the University of Ghana, Professor Julius Fobul, and Honorable Teshie Ekponobi. The trees planted were watered and covered with a wooden fence for protection. The event was climaxed with unveiling of a plaque which signifies the bond between Ghana and the countries represented. Nicholas K. Magaropoulos is the president of FISAC.
This is our contribution to green. I think on the 10th of June, this is the day celebrated every year by the President of the Republic for a greener Ghana. So we have selected baobab trees, which represent the trees of life, and it is also our contribution to peace in the world. So we dedicate this small new park to the university and to. Thank you.
I'm sure that we have Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana. We want to say a big thank you for this gesture. We really appreciate it, and we promise to take good care of it. And so thank you so much, and we wish you the very best.
The Forestry Directorate of the University of Ghana expressed joy and also thanked FISAC for the exercise.
Now, to some more stories, the First Lady of China, Peng Liyuan, through the Chinese Embassy, the Rebecca Foundation, and a Chinese medical team have commemorated the International Children's Day celebration with health screening and donation at the Motherly Love Orphanage here in Accra.
Children's Day is a commemorative date or day celebrated annually in honor of children in most parts of the world. In Ghana, it is celebrated on the last Sunday of May. On the back of this, the First Lady of China through the Chinese Embassy in Ghana, the Rebecca Foundation, and a Chinese medical team extended arms to some children at the Motherly Love Orphanage in an attempt to commemorate the International Children's Day. The team, as part of the celebration, organized health screening for the children, as well as donating several items to them. Among some of the items donated were medical supplies and stationaries. Speaking to Pan-African News after the celebration, founder of the orphanage home, Reverend John Azuma, expressed gratitude to the Chinese Embassy here in Ghana, the Rebecca Foundation, and the Chinese medical team for the kind gesture. He further called for support from philanthropists, non-governmental organizations, and individuals who want to assist in taking care of the children.
Yes, what has happened today is very simple. The Chinese Embassy, together with the Chinese medical team and the Office of the First Lady, have come together to show love to these wonderful children at Motherly Love, to let them go under medical screening. And after medical screening, it is important because children, as we are growing, there are a lot of medical issues they face. That's their HIV. So they have gone under a lot of medical screening, which the results will be in very soon. About the medical screening, they present a lot of teddies and handbags for these children. And for us, it is a joy that these children have been shown love today by the Chinese people and the Office of the First Lady. So wherever the Chinese government and the Office of the First Lady are, Motherly Love Orphanage says, thank you, God bless you for choosing our home and for showing us such a wonderful love. Yes, our long term here we are is a rented place. If you can see the wall there, we have our building plan, and that is where we want to achieve that we will get support in terms of cement, iron rod, sand and stone to be able to raise a home for these children. Yes, a rented place. So let's ask a question that at time can we are not able to pay, what will happen? And the payment is done by good people in the society. So we are calling on friends, philanthropists to come to our aid to be able to help raise that building for the children. And what amazes is that more children come here, we can't take them because we have a limited space. But when we get to Shy Hills, where that building, the drawing we are seeing on the wall, when we get there, we could be able to get more people and get them in the home. And these children need our support, especially coming from the HIV background. They really need our support. So wherever you are hearing our voice, we are appealing to you that come to our aid we need food, rice, oil, tomatoes, we need educational materials, we need clothing, we need medical support, we need money for utility bills, we need money to run the home. So wherever we need volunteers to come and help. So wherever you are, Motherly Love is calling you to come to our aid, to put a smile on the face of these wonderful children.
The Director of Political Affairs at the Chinese Embassy in Ghana, Lo Danju, who spoke on behalf of the First Lady of China, says the kind gesture by Mrs. Peng Liyuan stands out of the fact that she cares about the well-being of children in Africa.
Professor Peng Liyuan, the wife of President Xi Jinping of China, she cares about the well-being of the the African children very much. So on the occasion of the International Children's Day, and especially as well as the this year is the 60th anniversary of China dispatching medical team to China, to Africa. So Professor Peng Liyuan initiated a program. It's called "To Warm Children's Hearts: A China-Africa Joint Action." According to this program, we come to this orphanage with the China medical team and the Office of the First Lady to show our love and care to the children here. As on behalf of Her Excellency Professor Peng Liyuan, as His Excellency Ambassador Lu Kun. This inside is both their medical supplies and their stationaries, and pencils and pencil box and drawing pads, and the exercise book, and also we have some towers, and bath towers, and also we have this soccer, you see, and some panda dolls. Oh, this is children posted by the Office of the First Lady. Yeah, because it's an HIV/AIDS orphanage. Also, Professor Peng Liyuan is the ambassador for international HIV/AIDS.
Some beneficiaries who also spoke to the news team expressed excitement and further thanked the sponsors for the help.
It's overwhelming. We are so grateful, and I don't know, right now I'm short of words because I'm happy. I'm glad they came to help us today. The love and the compassion they've shown towards us, it's very massive, and thank them so much. God bless them.
Did you really need these things that they brought?
Yes, we really needed. Everything they brought was needed, and even the medical screening too. It was something that we have been praying for some time now, and today they've come to our aid. What I wish is more. We still need their support. We still need a lot of people's support out there, and we have big projects in mind. We have big things we want to do to build up the orphanage, to establish it for future generations, not just for a short period of time. So we call on people to help us in any way they can, the government, the non-government organizations. In their little way, they should just come and help us so that we will save other children who are also out there, who are not even here, because a lot of them are outside. Most of them are on the streets. But we believe that when they support our projects and they support our vision, we'll be able to save more children outside over there.
About the donations these people have brought you?
Yes, please. I'm very happy.
And what do you have to say about that?
I would like to say a very big thank you to our supporters who came here today to come and bring us these wonderful things. And these things are really going to help us in many ways. And we pray that may the good Lord bless you and bless them and let all the hard desires come to pass. We really appreciate the things.
Motherly Love Orphanage is an orphanage located at Kwabena in Accra and founded by Reverend John Azuma, who is the CEO and an ACE ambassador. The orphanage was established 14 years ago to provide hope and acceptance to children living with HIV. The orphanage has about 50 children, both male and female, and they are all children with human immune deficiency virus.
Now, rounding off our local stories on a rather sad note, celebrated Ghanaian playwright and former education minister, Professor Alormasor, has passed on at the age of 81. The sad news happened in the wee hours of Wednesday, May 3, 2023. The family of the icon has, however, confirmed her demise after a short illness in a press statement. Here's a short profile of the prolific writer.
On March 23, 1942, in Abiodun, Ghana, Prof. Alormasor Adu gained international recognition for her novel Our Sister Killjoy and her play Anoa. Her literary prowess extended beyond fiction, encompassing poetry, drama, and essays. Adu's plays include The Dilemma of a Ghost, produced at Legon in 1964, first published 1965, and Pittsburgh in 1988, and Anoa, published in 1971 and produced at the Gate Theatre in London in 1991. Her works of fiction particularly deal with the tension between Western and African worldviews. Her first novel, Our Sister Killjoy, was published in 1977 and remains one of her most popular works. It is notable for portraying a dissenting perspective on sexuality in Africa and especially LGBT in Africa. Many of Adu's other protagonists are also women who defy the stereotypical women's roles of their time, as in her play Anoa. News of her passing has elicited an outpouring of tribute from fellow writers, scholars, and admirers of her work. Many regard Ama as a trailblazer who fearlessly changed societal norms and paved way for African women writers. Her literary legacy will continue to inspire and shape the landscape of literature for generations to come.
Well, that's how we draw curtains on today's edition of our local stories. But there's still more to come. We have business, entertainment, and lifestyle. Now to some business stories. The Afienya district of the Electricity Company of Ghana ECG has issued summons letters to a client at Teshie in Accra for illegally connecting power to 33 structures in the area. The discovery was made as part of ECG's recent National Revenue Mobilization exercise, which started on Monday, May 29, 2023, and is expected to end on Friday, June 2nd, 2023.
Upon seeing the ECG personnel, however, the meter was located outside his premise and was therefore accessible to the team. In an interaction with residents by the ECG officials, some claimed to have been paying for the power they were using to the owner of the meter on a monthly basis. One of the EC board members, Kalyan Bo Chedid, said she believed the company would recover the necessary revenue targeted and further entreat customers to avoid illegal connections.
We had an opportunity to check their last payments that they had made and found that everything was in order, which is good. Here too, we have the commitment of the customer to make payments, up-to-date payments, and this exercise is a week-long exercise this time, and so we'll be back. Our teams will be back to check that payments have been made, and we actually encourage all customers to make payments when they should. Disconnection is a last option. It is not something that the company wants to engage in, and therefore we would like customers to honor their commitments for the electricity that they've used, and our teams will be engaging with them and finding out the payments that they've made, and will not just be going around disconnecting for the sake of disconnection. We want you to be using the electricity, but we also need you to be paying for the electricity.
Now, still in business, prices of petrol and diesel are expected to stay the same in the first 2 weeks of June 2023. However, the price of liquefied petroleum gas LPG is expected to decline by roughly 5% during the same period.
Security. This follows the Ghana Cedi's strong performance on the domestic forex market during the last 2 weeks and the drop in the price of LPG on the international market, though international prices of the liquid products shot up. The ex-pump prices as observed by the IES in the second pricing window for May 2023 fell at an average 3% for both petrol and diesel, with most oil marketing companies selling the two products at the same price in the window. The IES monitoring of various OMCs during the pricing window under review finds the national average price per litre for petrol and diesel at 11.90 Ghana Cedi and LPG at about 13 Ghana Cedi per kilogram. The price of Brent crude oil continued trading below $80 per barrel in the last 2 weeks. The average price per barrel over the window traded at about $75.90 per barrel. Analysts have indicated crude oil prices have touched multi-year lows on several occasions over the past 2 months.
Well, that's all we have for our business stories. Now let's do some international updates from our partners, the People's Dispatch. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva and Venezuelan President Nicholas Maduro participated in a joint press conference on Monday, May 29, from the Planalto Palace in Brasilia, and highlighted the importance of the neighboring countries resuming ties. The press conference was held following a bilateral meeting between the heads of state ahead of the South American Presidents' Summit. There's more from the People's Dispatch.
Lula told national and international media that this is a historic moment. After 8 years, President Nicholas Maduro is back to visiting Brazil, and we have recovered our right to have a foreign policy with the seriousness we have always had, especially with the countries that border Brazil. Their meeting took place days after the Lula government and the Maduro government appointed ambassadors to each other's countries on May 24 and formalized re-establishment of a bilateral and diplomatic relations between the neighboring countries. According to the statements from their governments, the meeting focused on reactivating trade between the two countries, cooperation on issues regarding the Amazon, such as environmental protection and the protection of indigenous populations, advancing regional integration, and issues related to their 2,200-kilometer border. In the press conference, Lula highlighted that at its height, the flow of trade between the two nations had reached $6 billion and it had now dropped to $2 billion, which he said is bad for Venezuela and Brazil. Lula also said that he is in favor of Venezuela joining the Global South Economic Bloc, BRICS. The Venezuelan head of state commented on the challenges the country underwent when Brazil closed all of the borders and windows despite being neighboring countries that love each other as peoples. He recalled that there was even an attempt to invade the Venezuelan embassy in Brazil, but it was defended by Brazilian social movements and solidarity groups. However, he highlighted that today a new chapter of relations between our countries begins. Both also condemned the unilateral coercive measures imposed on Venezuela and justified by the absurd, as Lula put it, recognition of Juan Guaido by many countries across the world, including Bolsonaro's Brazil. Lula recounted that he fought intensely with different social-democratic and centrist forces in Europe who claim to defend democracy, but denied that you were president of Venezuela despite being elected by the people. He expressed his horror of finding out that the country, to this day, denied its sovereign right to control its own gold resources in London. For his part, Maduro described that the over 900 measures of economic sanctions were like missiles in the war against Venezuela. They sanctioned everything that was possible to sanction, and even that which wasn't possible, they sanctioned it anyways. But we resisted with courage, standing tall and with a smile, because we have never lost the hope of a better society and a better world. President Nicholas Maduro called the meeting with the Brazilian counterpart a historic and transcendental event and a victory for the dignity of our peoples. The rescue and revival of a union between Brazil and Venezuela is the right path that will lead us to development and integration of a great homeland.
Many thanks to our international partners, the People's Dispatch, for our international stories. Now, away from that, let's do some sports news. Ghana and Leicester City defender Daniel Amati suffered relegation with the side despite their 2-1 win over West Ham United on Sunday afternoon. Leicester City's 9-year stay in the Premier League came to an end as they were relegated in agonizing fashion on the final day of the season.
Was out of their hands heading into the last round of fixtures, and Everton's 1-0 victory over Bournemouth meant the 2015-16 winners slipped into the championship by 2 points. While Toffees fans were in ecstasy at Goodison Park, Leicester supporters at the King Power were left to rue a miserable campaign in which they won only 9 league matches. Knowing they needed a win to have any chance of staying up, Leicester went close early on when Kelechi Iheanacho exchanged passes with James Maddison before clipping the crossbar with a vicious curling effort. The hosts did break the deadlock through Harvey Barnes' cool finish from Iheanacho's pass to lead at halftime, and at that stage, they were staying up on goal difference. Johnny Evans almost headed into his own net in a nerve-jangling second half, but the stadium was silenced when word filtered through about Everton scoring. Saeed Benrahma struck a delightful curling effort against the post for the visitors before Wout Faes headed in Leicester's second goal. Pablo Fornals pulled a goal back by stabbing in via the post as the Hammers finished 14th, 6 points clear of the relegation zone. Amati, who has been with Leicester since 2016, has been a valuable player for the club, but it seems unlikely that an agreement for a contract extension will be reached with relegation now confirmed. With the 28-year-old's contract coming to an end, he could become a free agent and has been linked with moves to the Milan clubs in Italy. Amate has made 106 appearances for Leicester City and has been a versatile player for the team, having played as a central defender, right back and defensive midfielder. He has also been a regular member of the Ghanaian national team with 51 appearances for the Black Stars.
Well, that's all we have for our sports segment. Coming up next, lifestyle. Right, on our lifestyle segment, Ikuaba dolls are wooden ritual fertility dolls from southern Ghana and nearby areas. These dolls are carried on the back of young women, either hoping to conceive a child or to ensure the attractiveness of the child being carried. In today's lifestyle segment, we take a look at the essence of this practice to the people of southern Ghana.
Disc-headed Ikuaba figures remain one of the most recognizable forms in African art. However, they are consecrated by priests and carried by women who hope to conceive a child. The flat disc-like head, a strongly exaggerated convention of the Akan ideal of beauty. A high oval forehead, slightly flattened in actual practice by gentle modeling of an infant's soft cranial bones. The flattened shape of the sculpture also serves a practical purpose, since women carry the figures against their backs wrapped in their skirt, invoking the manner that infants are carried. The rings on the figure's neck are a standard convention for rows of fat, a sign of beauty, health and prosperity in Akan culture. The delicate mouth of the figure is small and set low on the face. The small scars just discernible below the eyes of this figure refer to a local medical practice as protection against convulsions. Most Ikuaba have abstracted horizontal arms and a cylindrical torso with a simple indications of the breast and navel. The torso ends in a base, as opposed to human legs. The style of the sculpture is rare among other extant examples of Ikuaba due to its miniaturized naturalistic body, arms and legs. Full-bodied figures such as this are believed to be a recent 20th century innovation within the Ikuaba sculptural tradition. The name Ikuaba comes from the Akan legend of a woman named Ikua who was barren, but like all Akan women, she desired most of all to bear children. She consulted a priest who instructed her to commission the carving of a small wooden child and carry the surrogate child on her back as if it were real. Ikua cared for the figures as she would a living baby, even giving it gifts of beads and other trinkets. She was laughed at and teased by fellow villagers who began to call the wooden figure Ikuaba, or Ikua's child. Eventually, though Ikua conceived a child and gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, soon thereafter, even her detractors began adopting the same practice to overcome barrenness. All genuine Ikuaba are female images, primarily because Ikua's first child was a girl, but also because Akan society is matrilineal, so women prefer female children who will perpetuate the family line. Girls will also assist in all household chores, including the care of any smaller children in the family. After influencing pregnancy, Ikuaba are often returned to shrines as offerings to the spirit who responded to the appeal for a child. A collection of figures becomes an advertisement for the spirit, ability to help women conceive. Families also keep Ikuaba as memorials to a child or children. The figures become family heirlooms and are appreciated not for their spiritual association, but rather because they are beautiful images that call to mind a loved one.
Well, that's how we draw curtains on today's edition of our Midday Bulletin Pan-African News. But before we go, a recap of our top stories. Celebrating former Education Minister Alormasor breathes her last at the age of 81. Also, we went to the Lejokugu constituency where residents of Teshie are protesting the bad nature of their roads. Well, many thanks for staying with us. My name is Koku Alormasor. Do all to connect with us on all social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Pan African Television. Do have a pleasant day and enjoy the rest of our programs.